Welcome back to Beyond Boundaries. The world champions, South Africa, are marching into India, not intimidated, but inspired by a hard fought series in Pakistan. And India, yes, they are coming on the back of a dominance victory against West Indies at home, but they find themselves in a phase of transition, right? Searching for that spark that once made the home turf an impenetrable fortress. And here's a talking points, analysis, and the discussions before the series begins. Let us begin with batting, right? There are no major changes, except for the one that matters the most. Rishabh Pant returns to the squad in place of N. Jagadisan. His arrival puts Dhruv Jurel in a very uncertain position. Let us not forget Dhruv Jurel's 125 from 200 balls against West Indies in the first game. Experts also praise his excellent wicket keeping. But the reality is simple, right? Rishabh Pant is a vice captain, and a vice captain does just not sit out. Now, the major talking point is the exclusion of Abhimanyu, Easwaran, and Sarfraz Khan once again. Easwaran is still waiting for his debut. Since his initial selection, 15 players have debuted ahead of him. 8 of them are batsmen. The question writes itself, right? What more must he do to get selected into the 11? And Sarfraz Khan had a dream Ranji in 2023, right? He averaged 122.75. 2024 domestic season slipped away due to international commitments and injury. Yet his numbers are respectable, right? He has an average of 37 for India in tests. He made a gutsy 150 against New Zealand. He missed games against Australia A due to injuries and then returned to score 92 against England Lions at Canterbury. But then the surprising bit was that he was dropped from the India A squad against South Africa A. And this would still make sense if some of our current batting unit was in form, right? But the truth is that the batting has looked rusty. Apart from Ayush Matre's 65, Pant's 90, and Jurel's couple of hundreds, we have not fired. Sai Sudarshan, Devdutt Padikkal, and KL Rahul have all struggled for runs. And if South Africa's spinners are already outplaying us in our own conditions, the danger signs can't be ignored. How do you assess India's batting lineup at this moment?
See, I think you've pointed out pretty much all the sort of open slots, so to say, within the lineup. You've talked about Sai Sudarshan. I think the jury is still out on him. I am a big supporter, but I'm turning around and trying to understand why is it that he can't break through and make a big 100 even against the West Indies. The one name which you mentioned right up front, Rishabh Pant, he walks into any World 11 and surely he is indispensable to India as well. But I am still not convinced there is no room for a player like Jurel. He's too good a player, temperamentally and skill wise, to be wasted sitting on the bench. I really don't care who we drop to get him in. I understand there are few slots which can't be, but I really do not care who we drop to get him in. He must play. If we can't get a slot for a generational talent like Jurel, I don't know what future planning we are talking about here.
The aspect of having two good wicket keepers coexisting in Indian cricket has been a thing that we've always seen over time, right? We've seen Chandrakant Pandit and More coexist. We've seen Dhoni and Dinesh Karthik coexist. Now we are seeing actually plenty, right? Ishan Kishan, let's not forget Ishan Kishan. We've got Jurel, we've got Pant, and a few others, right? Like that are coming up. And what has always happened over time is one of them have been sort of dispensed off at the cost of the other, which means that you don't get to see the full potential of like a Dinesh Karthik never saw his true potential being exploited or leveraged. Similarly, Chandrakant Pandit, I would argue, was a much better batsman than Kiran More, was never given his due. I hope that does not happen with Jurel. I echo Jagdeep's point that you cannot ignore the talent and the caliber of somebody like Jurel. My sense is in the first test, you're going to see Jurel come in and play Nitish Kumar Reddy's role. Just given his recent India exploits, he scored a century in both innings. So I feel like Jurel will get his due, but history tells us that we've never been good at managing those. So let's see how that works. Now, talking about Abhimanyu Easwaran, right? Look, we've not seen, obviously we've seen a little bit of Abhimanyu Easwaran in India A squad and, in his Ranji Trophy, looked class apart as a player. I just hope their exclusion from the squad, both him and Sarfraz, is for legitimate cricketing reasons and squad reasons and not for the noise that's been around them for a while. I mean, Abhimanyu Easwaran's father spoke a lot about the selection committee and what the promises made were. Sarfraz Khan, there's been a lot of noise around dressing room leaks to media. I hope that's not the reason why they've been excluded, because both of these could be easily dealt with. I hope it's not. I hope it's purely because we just don't have a way to fit them in the squad. If that's the case, then I'm fine, because obviously you've been given chances. At least Sarfraz Khan has had chances. I wouldn't say he's capitalized on everything. He's played a few good innings, but he's not really capitalized on everything. So maybe there's a fair reason there. Abhimanyu Easwaran, I feel for him. But again, to Jagdeep's point, I don't rate Sai Sudarshan. I don't rate his technique at the international level. I think any good bowler would get him out. Devdutt Padikkal again looks like a T20 player disguised in a test attire to me. So we'll see, right? I just hope it's for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons.
The other part which we have to consider, which we probably have not mentioned in your introduction, is what are the kind of pitches we want to play on. If the pitches are going to be ranked turners, like we had in the last WTC cycle, it becomes too much of a lottery. Even mediocre spin attacks can outbowl us, and our batsmen really don't stand a chance. So I hope the pitches are a little better. I want sporting pitches, and I think we have the bowling attack to bowl people out.
Hopefully, it's a fair wicket that has a bit of bounce, bit of carry, bit of spin later. So it gives us at least a 4 day duration of play, which then gives us a fair chance, right, to go win both. I think if the test matches go down to the fourth day or the fifth day, India has a better chance, right, than South Africa. But if it is a 3 day test, then you never know. It's a luck of the draw, right? Whatever happens.
Having said that, South Africa is a force to reckon with, as you rightly pointed out. They are coming on the back of a very hard fought series. They've got great preparations. Last time a team came prepared here was New Zealand. They lost the series in Sri Lanka, but we all know what they did to India after that. So I hope we play our cards right, we get the pitches right, and we get the team combination right. And last thing which I want to mention is I'm really unhappy with the kind of importance our test team captain is giving to the test match format. He departed Australia this morning, which is Sunday morning, and he has to play a test match in Calcutta in 4 nights' time. I just don't get it. Why was he persisted with in a dead T20I series when we have a significant challenge waiting for him back home?
Now we come to the age-old Indian dilemma, right? How many spinners do we play? And more importantly, which spinners do we play? Eden Gardens has always supported spinners, so logically playing all of them sounds ideal. But Nitish Kumar Reddy was preferred against West Indies, but did not contribute significantly either with the bat or with the ball. So to accommodate two pacers and Nitish Kumar Reddy, one among Axar Patel, Washington Sundar, Kuldeep Yadav, or Jadeja or Washington Sundar will have to sit out. This is a decision that could easily tilt the match, right? Either way. And Jasprit Bumrah is back after the T20s against Australia. Akash Deep returns. Prasidh Krishna is released. And Mohammad Shami, despite picking 15 wickets in two Ranji games so far, including a match-winning 5 wicket haul against Gujarat, is not a part of the squad. Fans find that hard to accept. So how does this attack match South African batting and bowling?
I think the template of the Indian team in home matches is pretty defined, right? They go with two fast bowlers and three spinners. I know Nitish Kumar Reddy was played in the West Indies series, but that's probably because Pant was not there. And they just wanted to make sure that he is match fit and he continues to get his chances, right? I don't think Nitish Kumar Reddy will play the first test. I think Pant will replace him. Jurel will remain as a batsman. And therefore, you're going to see two pacers, three spinners template. What I hope they don't do is drop Kuldeep. I hope they continue to play Kuldeep. So Kuldeep, Washi, Jadeja becomes your three-prong spin attack. And then Siraj and Bumrah become your pace attack. I hope that's what they do. You never know with Gambhir, right? He tends to surprise us. So, but I just sincerely hope if it's a five-bowler template, Kuldeep Yadav finds a spot in that five.
If the pitch is like a sporting wicket, like they played in the NCA, the second A game, if it's not a green pitch, but if it favors medium pacers, fast bowlers a little bit, we might even see Akash Deep play the third pacer. But I don't think Nitish Kumar Reddy would be the third pacer. That's my view. On what you said about Shami, again, referring back to what Sudhi said about the batting lineup, I hope it is for cricketing reasons and not because of that ego clash which keeps popping up in the newspapers and on websites with Ajit Agarkar. Maybe he's being nursed back to full fitness and eventually he'll play. But I hope there is proper communication going on with him. He's not spent. My view is he's still got a couple of years which will carry us through this WTC cycle. If not in home conditions, we'll need him overseas because our fast bowling stocks, they just look very healthy, but they're deceptively so. I believe we need Shami for the next 2 years at least. So I hope proper communication happens with him. And if he's being made to sit out, it's for proper cricketing reasons.
I think on Shami, I think he's out of the reckoning for the India squad. Sense that I get, I mean, for whatever reasons, right? Whether it's fitness, whether it's non-cricketing reasons, and he's been very vocal about his form versus what the perception is. I have a feeling Shami is being phased out. So you're probably not going to see Shami again in India colors. If it was true, Jagdeep, that it's because he's coming out of an injury, they're nursing him, they're bringing him slow, they still see a future in him, he should have played the India A series. That would have been a good test for him to show that he can actually stay fit for a long period. The fact that he was not picked for that squad and Prasidh Krishna was preferred over him, I just have a feeling that that's a last. I mean, it's unfortunate. I think I agree with you. Shami probably has another couple of years, and he could be a good backup fast bowler in the squad. Like Bumrah gets out injured, Shami could easily come in and fill the void. The fact that we're not seeing him for India A colors, I have a feeling that that's the end of road for him. Unfortunate, but I think that's what it is.
But I see where you're coming from, Sudhi. It does seem like the selection committee is looking past him. But then where is the backup? Akash Deep is a good bowler. I really like Akash Deep, even in home conditions. But he probably showed in the England tour that his fitness is probably not the best. He can't last a long tour. So we need to build our fast bowling depth. In and around Bumrah, I don't know how many years more of Bumrah we'll get. He's already being very picky around what he plays and what he doesn't. The other sort of variable into all this is the T20 World Cup coming up in not too distant future, straight after this round of test matches. I hope the fast bowling depth is not compromised or sacrificed just for short term gains.
Coming back to Kuldeep, right, I have a short bit of analysis here. If we look at South Africa spinners, right, they have Keshav Maharaj, they have Senran Muthuswamy, and they have Simran Hammer as their spinners. A point to note here is that all of them are off-break bowlers. Two of them are left hand and one is right hand. So that means that there is less variety from their end. If we exclude Kuldeep and consider rest of the Indian spin attack, right, we are left with the same combination: two left-arm off-break bowlers and one right-arm off-spinner. Kuldeep brings that extra edge that we'll get, right? So that's why Kuldeep becomes imperative in this 11. And let's talk about South Africa, right? They arrive with momentum. Tony J. Zorzi, Rian Trickleton, Deval Brevis, Tristan Stubbs. They were all impressive in Pakistan. Senduran Muthuswamy, he picked up 11 wickets with an average of 18.36 and also scored a 89 in the second test. He's an all-rounder perfectly suited for Indian conditions. Along with them, they field Keshav Maharaj and Simran Hammer, as I told before. Their pace all-rounders, right? They add major balance. Macro Janssen's bounce, Vian Mulder's and Corbin Bosch seam skills. Kagiso Rabada is leading the pace attack with world-class firepower. So how much of a threat is this lineup for India?
Traditionally, South Africa has been very strong in their bowling all-rounders. Their spinners, surprisingly, perhaps not so surprisingly, have really come on in leaps and bounds. Keshav Maharaj is a world-class spinner. I'd say he's outside of the subcontinent. He's probably the best spin bowler there is, a left-arm spin bowler. So they are a big threat. The batting, as you very rightly said, they've got some young batsmen. I don't see their batting as being as strong as their all-round bowling attack. I still feel a good bowling attack can get at them and crack them open. But they've got some good young batsmen who have experience of playing in Indian conditions and subcontinental conditions. I know IPL is a different kettle of fish, but at least they get used to the heat, the humidity, and the type of pitches, which gives them edge. People are no longer scared of coming outside Asian countries, are no longer scared of coming to India. The pitches, the heat used to worry them much more in the pre-IPL days. Now, not so much. So, all in all, South Africa represents a very fair challenge to India, and we need to win these two test matches to go further in WTC.
I actually see it differently, right? I'm not too worried about the South African spinners. So the reason why I say that is I'm worried about Maharaj because he's a typical, very uncanny left arm spinner who sort of beats you in flight. So any bowler who beats you in flight or has a little bit of air is always going to be challenging no matter what the wicket is because you're taking wicket out of the equation. You're sort of getting batsmen out through your guile. And Keshav Maharaj for me is one of those. So he can be a bit nippy. He can be a bit challenging. In the South African series, I watched both Muthuswamy and Simon Harmer. I call them the bowlers who bowl with their upper body, right? They don't have a pivot. They give it a lot of push, and therefore they get a lot of bounce. So in dust bowls, they can be very tricky, which is what they saw in Pakistan, right? Because Pakistan sort of got beaten in their own backyard because they built pitches for their own Noman Ali and Sajid Khan, right? Like I think Simon Harmer and Muthuswamy would be effective in those conditions. India is not going to build a dust ball. I mean, the learning from New Zealand, good or bad, is going to be we're not going to prepare dust balls, right? We're going to be more conservative. I don't think these two bowlers will have any impact. I think we can safely take them out of the equation. So I'm not too worried about their bowling attack. And Jagdeep's point, their batting attack is too naive to be able to stand the test of Indian fast bowlers or spinners. So hopefully, right, unless we do some harakiri and Gambhir gets over creative, we should win the series.
So that is where the two teams stand. India have the home advantage, but the home advantage alone no longer guarantees victory, right? Especially after the whitewash against New Zealand. It's going to be a thrilling contest, and we wish Team India the best. Thank you.
Morning, guys.